below it.
I have no idea where to even.
Take them from
They film online. Yeah, I'm trying. And I'm ready.
I get you a gavel, Mayor.
Well, I'm going to call the meeting to order for the Angola Board of Works, Monday, June 2nd. Can I have a roll call, please?
Member Martin?
Here.
Member Olson?
Here.
Member McDermott?
Here. Request approval of the May 19th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Discuss an action regarding repairs to the retention pond located at the Fountain subdivision. I don't remember what it was last year or this year. I had our street department, the detention pond has been a retention pond has been a mess for an awful long time. It doesn't drain correctly, doesn't work correctly. It was overgrown with trees and brush. It's filled in with silt. I had our street department, actually the owner of it, it got sold at probably auction, tax auction, quite some time ago. We had the owner in here, Mr. Appleton, and asked him to clean it. He requested our help in cleaning it. We told him we would not help him, but we did go out and clean it and then filed. We did a very minor cleaning to it. We removed some of the brush and trees and so forth out of it. And we did file suit against Mr. Appleton, and I think we were successful in that suit, were we not?
Yes, Mayor. We sued him based on a theory of nuisance, which was a bit inventive. But the court gave us an order to clean it and send the bill to him, which we did. And that's where it stands.
All right.
Well, that isn't where it stands. In the middle of the lawsuit, he secretly sold it to some guy.
Yes, so it has been sold.
It has been
again.
sold.
Can I answer a question? Did he have to pay that? He's not to pay. He was required.
We have a judgment. We haven't tried to enforce it yet. $1,100, something like that.
I was thinking it was 16, but
Is the
yeah,
plan-
not a
is
huge.
the plan to go and
That's up to the administration, kind of.
Earlier this spring, we had what I would call a fraud choker or a gully washer. Mrs. Cope would describe it as a significant rain event because she's more educated than I am. It caused considerable flooding in the Harrington Heights area, which is drainage-wise is right below the fountains. Primarily because the retention pond at the fountains did not function as designed, so it caused significant flooding. Now, we got fairly lucky. The only property damage that we are aware of was a city-owned vehicle. So none of our citizens were damaged, other than the fact that some of them were trapped in their houses for several days until we were able to get the water to reset. We pumped water to several different locations. We even had fire trucks pumping down and hauling to a different drainage area to get the flooding under control. Long story short, we need to get that retention pond cleaned back to its design standard. And my suggestion is we go in and clean it thoroughly back to the design that it was originally set up for. And because it is not our land, nor are we required, the city is required to maintain it, that we also seek damages against the current owner. But at least we'll get it cleaned and get it taken care of. That is my suggestion and my recommendation, but I want Board of Works approval to do it. Amanda, the last quote we had was
75,300.
75,300 to completely dredge it.
So that would cover putting a temporary drive in because there's no access to the pond, excavating down to the design elevation, reseeding and blanketing, erosion control blanket the area, removing the temporary drive is all under the contractor. The city would acquire a permit from NDOT because we would access off an NDOT road.
It's basically silt, isn't it, that came across and into the Harrington Heights pond that caused the extra flooding? And
Well, it's the buildup of silt in the fountains pond. And it is not holding the correct amount of water because it has been filled with silt.
So we're gonna dredge it. Of something, like this, something's still out. And the re-engineering of the piping will limit,
Not included in this.
not including it.
This is only to remove the trees, the silt, the organic material down to the design elevation that was originally. No modifications to the outlet, piping or anything.
So what's to stop this from happening again?
At this point, we don't even know what that pond capacity is, so could be step one in a multi-step process, but step one would be to clean it out, and that's what this quote's for.
could you repeat that number again, please?
75,300.
And the city would be on the hook for that, if that's what we're playing at?
Well, there is a limit on how much we can go back against the property owner. I think Kim has a better idea of that.
Yeah, this is an unusual situation, obviously. There is a provision in state law that allows the city to go on private property to remedy a violation of city ordinance. I think I could establish that that's a violation of city ordinance simply because it's a nuisance. That, however, that statute limits us to recovering either only 10,000 or 20,000. And at this point, I am not sure what the factors are in that, but our recovery would be limited. I'd be surprised if a court would award the city a judgment for $75,000 against a citizen who really is not aware of what he bought. And I'm sure that same citizen would probably be more than happy just to give the thing to the city.
Ideally, I would like to see an association formed in Harrington Heights. That's how we in the Fountains. Harrington Heights does a fantastic job of maintaining their drainage retention ponds in their subdivision. They collect a little bit of money every year from the residents that live there, and they spend it on cleaning it, mowing it, maintaining it. It is in perfect condition. It is very well maintained. It's very attractive to look at. It's just done right. Unfortunately, the Fountains didn't work out that way. They have never had a homeowners association that has been responsible for maintaining drainage, and that's why it has been allowed to get as bad as it has been. It is causing problems for them. It's causing problems for their neighbors. That's where we start getting interested in. It's causing problems for their neighbors. We don't want to punish the people that are being responsible. And I would love to see the Fountains form an association and take over ownership and future maintenance. If we have to bite the bullet and make it the way it's supposed to be and then turn it over to them, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay.
Mayor, is that a possibility? I don't know the people out there, so.
I've talked to some of the residents that would like to see them form an association and do that. And there's some that don't want to do it.
And the people I've talked to, the pond has become an issue because it's not just pond, it's sometimes there's mosquitoes and all that stuff that goes with it. And, they expect somebody else to take care of it for them, so.
And I think that's what the original owner did, if I remember right. He came for a planning commission and thought we would do it for him. And I think we told him, no, that's not our position. And then nothing got done. I know Harrington Heights homeowners met Saturday. I happened to be there, and they did raise the question about the fountains. And I told them it's going to be discussed tonight, and hopefully there'd be some resolution.
They do a great job of maintaining their drainage in their pond and their common areas. Unfortunately, we don't have that going on in the Fountains.
May I ask, is $75,000 realistic?
Yes. Yeah, I don't think it's a high quote.
I'm a little concerned again as to if we do this, then if another addition needs help, what do we do then?
Well, that's why I think we should go back against the property owner that does actually own it. Yeah, we'll clean it up, but we're gonna file something against you because it's the owner's responsibility. In this case, it should be owned by an association.
Correct.
In this case, it's owned by a private individual.
And how many ponds, retention and detention ponds do we have in the city? Can you guess? 10? 10?
More.
I would have thrown out a dozen, but that might be short too.
20.
And most of them are not owned by an association, because associations are pretty much on the north side. I don't think there's too many associations in the city, is there?
I can't.
I think Colbert Hills is owned, because we've had conversations with them before.
So there's Hobart Hills and there's.
I'm thinking-
Harrington. See, Sunfield doesn't have one. We had problems. You and I talked about that one before.
Yeah, we bit the bullet on that one years ago because it was flooding
Because I think
houses.
Jerry's concern is well thought.
It is.
I don't want this to be we don't have to take care of our own problem and we just throw it on the taxpayers.
Right.
Mayor, I've talked to the city planner about tightening up the subdivision control ordinance to maybe emphasize forming some kind of an association to look after these things. The problem with that is it's people driven. If you don't have people that will follow through, they can set it up and then just drift away. So
It's hard to enforce then.
it's hard to enforce, yes, and yeah.
But then you would also then, whether you have or not, you have then some ownership of that pond.
Yeah.
That's our problem.
Yeah.
I think, I don't want to go on record that we both live in Harrington.
So we need to,
That's
need to make
important.
that clear.
Yeah, that's important.
The person that bought it, I think, is not a sophisticated person. Soon after he took title, he entered the DeKalb County Jail to do 4 days for some misdemeanor. But I just get the impression he's not a man of means or wherewithal. And I don't think he knew at all what he was getting into. So I'm not sure court is going to hammer him at all.
I think, before I go to another homeowners association meeting, it'd be nice to have it fixed, no matter how it's done. And, reluctantly, I would agree that we need to move forward. So therefore, I move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion and a second, any discussion?
I have a question, but I want the question after we do it, this issue, right? But I want to go back to a man on another question, so.
All right. We're for
I'm
the
ready for my
question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Mr. Olson, you got something?
Amanda, when the flooding that took place in the spring, we had a lot of water. There was a lot of rain. There was no place for it. The water came from, if I do my hydrology, correct? Crossroad. A lot of it came from the fountains, came in the fountains pond, overflows, come into the Harrington Heights North Pond. Then came out over that into the road, basically shut down that road for whatever, and the pumping above. We put in piping, and I talked about you and we put in piping within my tenure here, across from that pond, across underneath William Street to the Y and
It goes to the church first.
Okay.
To the south.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
the water we got was so much that it just couldn't drain.
Yes. So the short answer, yes. So going to the Y and all the way through is a 15-inch line that was flowing full constantly. I think the other part of the problem, the cleaning we did in the fountains pond directed that water faster. And so we didn't utilize all of the storage in the fountains pond. And so it came there faster and then went downstream faster until it got to a choke point, which was a 15-inch pond or pipe. And that's just as
I don't
fast
know,
as.
what just wasn't enough.
Right.
Okay.
And the pipe has been cleaned or they're able to delete.
The pipe was running full. Chad and I went out and looked at it several times. It comes out, there's a grate out front of BW, the Buffalo Wild Wings. You open that grate up and there's that 15-inch pipe and it was 15 inches of water
Okay.
and it was running full.
Okay, then this we can, that we can answer questions that people tell us about that was there. That was, it got me out the other day too. The next question is, on the other, let's say dozen ponds in the community, do we do any checkup on those to make sure that they're flowing properly? I mean, it's not our property, but at the same time,
Mhm.
I don't think we want to have this coming again.
Only complaint based. I mean, are there any that you preemptively go? So only complaint based.
Okay, once there's an issue, then we try to deal with it.
And you guys have all checked them at one time in you guys' involvement in the city. And they've got grates and the whole thing to prevent raccoons and other stuff like that. Nope. Okay, that's what I need to know. Thank you, sir.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Department head reports. Ryan?
Nothing from me, Mayor.
Kim?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
No report, Mayor.
No report, Mayor.
Amanda?
Nothing.
Yes. All right. Any other business this evening?
Too late.
Hearing none. Next meeting will be Monday, July 7th.